Hi, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the co-founder of Digital Leadership Associates. I'm also the author of the book, Social Selling Techniques to Influence Buyers and Changemakers. With me today, I've got Daniel Disney. Daniel, if you don't know him, is the person behind the dailysales.net. You must have seen some of the memes that have been shared around. It's absolutely, I mean, I'm always rolling around on the floor laughing at these things. But before I steal your thunder, Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself, where people can get hold of you, you know, the usual sort of coordinates and stuff.
Yeah, sure. So, my name's Dan. I've been working in sales for about 14 years now. And a year and a half ago, I decided to start a social page called The Daily Sales. And the core focus was to share sales memes, sales blogs, sales quotes, a bit of entertainment for salespeople with a bit of motivation behind it as well. In that time, we've got over 100,000 followers and growing, and hopefully the content, salespeople seem to enjoy. So for me, I'm mainly on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Always happy to connect. But yeah, just a very passionate.
And you're on Twitter. You're the Daniel Disney, aren't you? Dan Disney.
The Dan Disney. Yeah. I locked myself out of a previous one. So
right. Okay. So you're the Dan Disney. So tell us a little bit about, because you've got a belief that you need to use humor in the way that you work, in the way that you prospect, in the way that you create content, and ultimately, I guess, in you're a full-time salesperson. You have you're a serious professional salesperson, and so you must be using humor in a way through the sales process. But before we get onto that, why don't you just explain, why you decided to do that? Talk a little bit about your journey, because, and I'll explain the reason behind that is that there's a lot of people who go, I want to be an influencer, but and I think there's a button I need to press to do it, or so how do you? You're 30, aren't you?
Yes.
So how at 30 years old have you suddenly got 100,000 followers and are influential?
I guess it comes from real passion and vision. I think if I didn't believe or truly feel valuable in what I was communicating, then I don't think I'd be able to achieve it. But because it's something I genuinely enjoy, because it's something I'm genuinely passionate about, I hope that is conveyed in the message. Yeah.
And so you must have sort of been eating your Weetabix or something one morning when you went, hey, I'm going to start sending out memes about sales. What was it? What was the spark behind that?
Again, it came from passion. So everything I do with the daily sales is in my own time. I have a full-time job, as you say, working hard every day. So everything that I do for the daily sales, creating content, it's all done in evenings, weekends, late nights, etc. And again, that's because it comes from real passion.
It's very obvious. For me, that you are a person working at the coalface in sales. You're there. Picking up the phone. You're having conversations. You're engaging with people, and which is why all of the memes that I've always seen are always that you nail it every single time. I mean, they get shared around, and. So what is it that you've done over the last few? How long have you been doing the dailysales.net?
About a year and a half now.
Right. So it's taken you a year and a half to get 100,000 followers.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's been a pretty consistent growth. I think the first couple of months it was quite slow. You have to really push the content out, continue to keep sharing it and liking it yourself. But once you get momentum, consistency is the key.
Right.
Every day, regular content. Don't let it dip. Keep new stuff coming out. Keep engaging with your audience, and just keep driving it. But consistency is the key. I think that's where a lot of people miss out. Just keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, we as an organization, we put out a piece of content every day. So one day it will be a blog, one day it will be a quote from us, one day it will be one of these videos. It is about. Because I actually think, if people are interested and you're putting out good content, they come back.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, you see a lot of people on LinkedIn where they'll come on LinkedIn for a couple of weeks and they'll do loads of stuff. And then you won't hear from them for a month, 2 months. And then they'll come back on. And it's the same with businesses. They'll post a load of content and then they'll go quiet for weeks or months. And then they can't understand perhaps why it's not having an impact. So consistency.
And you know, one of the things I always say about you is that you're always there. You know, if there's a, you know, if Tony Hughes has kicked off another discussion on LinkedIn, you know, you dive in and immediately, and you give your opinion, and what you're not. It doesn't matter whether your opinion, well, opinions aren't right or wrong, but you know, it doesn't matter. You're not afraid to actually say, well, I think this, and someone else will say, well, I disagree with you, and it's like, well, yeah, great, well, please do, because it's the important thing is the engagement. And the conversation that you have, and that in a way, even if, you know, I remember when I was at school, you know, I remember disagreeing with somebody, and actually that disagreement, you end up being friends with them, because there's a sort of amount of respect there between the two of you.
Oh god, the amount of message. I mean, I'll quite happily put my opinion down, and I try to keep it professional. I'm not here to argue with anyone, just convey an opinion. But I'll have people message me, you know, separately saying, "Oh, you know, look, we've got the same passion, we've got the same belief. You know, it's just two sides of the story, but ultimately the story stays the same."
And I think, you know, on LinkedIn, there's a lot of people on there who are professional salespeople, and while we may think this is right or this is right or whatever, at the end of the day, we all know what we're trying to do. And I suppose I shouldn't say amongst thieves, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a living out of selling.
We're trying to serve our customers, and there's different ways
serve our customers, and that is, and in effect, we're all in it together. So,
no, 100%.
You know, we met at the Sales Innovation Conference, and I mean, it was great because I actually put out a tweet saying, "I'm sitting in the coffee shop. Anybody around?" And you're like, you found me. And you took the time to actually come out and say, you know, we always wanted to meet you. Great to put a face to a name. And then we had a long chat, and we talked about how important it is for you to use humor.
Yeah, 100%. And I think going back to your tweet initially, and it's, you know, I don't think enough people utilize social media in those unique ways where, like you say, you just put a little tweet saying, look, I'm here. And there you go. And I saw there was a couple of people before me.
I had 3 people come up to me. I was just like amazed. I thought it would just go off into the ether. And it's what people always say, oh yeah, I tweet and nobody listens.
Yeah, but let's say you are a decision maker in your own right. You know, that would have been a valuable opportunity for a salesperson to come and discuss an opportunity with you in a nice, friendly atmosphere. You know, so social is powerful. But yeah, going back to humor, you know, sales is a tough job. It's a stressful job, and you know, when you worked in sales offices, big and small, you know, it's tough. Everyone's struggling. Everyone's getting hit with objections and negativity and challenges. They've got pressure of targets and their bosses on their backs. Humor can be brought into so many different ways to take a bit of that pressure off and help salespeople do what they want to do and sell.
So humor for you is a kind of a pressure release.
Yeah, I think it's just a way of bringing a bit of positivity into some of the negativity that can come into the sales process at various stages. Anywhere humor can be brought in, I think it can help.
Good. And you said that when we talked, you said that there was kind of 3 things that you saw around humor. So why don't we just go through those, and if you could sort of like bring out some examples of those 3 things as well about how you're using humor today.
Yeah. So I tried to break it down into the 3 key areas that humor could be used. So the first one is building better human relationships with your prospects and your customers. So by showing you're a human being. The second point was creating a more fun and humorous sales office atmosphere, so taking the pressure away from there. And the third piece was around social content. So sharing content on social media as a sales professional or even a business that's offering more value and entertainment as opposed to this is what we do, these are our products, you know, buy.
So yeah, let's take the 3. So the first one is about using humor in your daily life as a salesperson. And I must admit, I've done that. And the reason why I've done it is that when you're sitting in front of somebody or you're on the telephone, they know you're a salesperson. Yeah. They know that you're going to sell them or going to try them, sell them something. And therefore, my view is, well, relax. You don't have to try and be something that you're not, because we all know what the game is.
Yeah, and the customers know. You know, they're not stupid. They know you're trying to sell something, and they're still talking to you. They need something from you. So
you know, if a salesperson gets through, you generally want to listen to what they've got, and you know, in terms of, you know, maybe I haven't thought about that yet. but also, you know, I think, you know, when I've done cold calling, you know, the cheeky chappy sort of on the phone, I think has always worked. And joking with the person, because even if you're ringing them, even if you don't really know them, actually going in cold and having a conversation, bringing out humor and making the other person laugh, because we always want to laugh, because that's, you know, one of the best feelings that we have in the world, isn't it, when someone makes you laugh?
Yeah, well, come on, the biggest thing is people buy from people.
Yes.
So if you show that you're a person, if you break down those sales, customer, buyer, seller barriers, show that you're a human being, and build a human relationship, you're going to increase the chances you're going to, you know, get the sale at the end of it.
Yes.
Significantly.
I think so. I think people buy from people, and I think there's trust, but also there's trust in humor as well. So,
oh yeah, no, hugely.
Yeah. I mean, do you have any other examples of where you've used that in a sales process, just so that people can actually relate to that and understand what the sort of things that you've been doing? And, you know, I'm not saying that you use humor to close deals, but, you know, there must be ways that you're using humor either to get through to people or when you're talking to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me personally, I try to use humor either on the phone or in face-to-face sort of scenarios. So it's, you know, when you've been in an industry for a period of time, you know the industry, and often they know the industry, so you can make fun of it. You know, I've predominantly been in IT, so, you know, there's plenty of jokes. And to be fair, accountancy, you know, there's plenty of jokes you could make about the industry, the environment, but you could take it a step back, make jokes about the weather, make jokes about the economy, whatever it may be. There's always plenty to sort of poke a bit of a fun light on. Sort of on a separate slide note, you know, if you've got a team, or if you're working in an office, I've also put sort of humor hints on the walls and things. So if people need a bit of prompting or a bit of ideas as to what they can use, or common things, you know, there might be something in the news that's a bit of entertainment relevant to the industry, you know, little humor hints that give people sort of nudges. But there was one thing that I saw, and I shared it the other day on the Daily Sales, actually, and it was an email that a prospect had put online that they'd sent out, and it was a follow-up email. So obviously, and you can imagine how many follow-up emails, you know, decision makers get, you know, hi, how are you, just chasing this up. And he'd put, you know, sorry, I haven't heard from you yet, just wanted to see, I can imagine it's one of these 5 reasons. One was, you know, you're too busy. 2 was, you know, it's not for you. 3, and then the last one was you're being chased by a hippo and you need animal rescue, you know. And I think, you know, he sent that out and it prompted a reply because it was humorous, it was entertaining, took the pressure away from the sales sort of process.
And also it tends to you know, keeps the atmosphere alive. And as you say, creates some humanity there as well. So yeah. So is that when you say that you use humor within the office, is that where you've got post-it notes of jokes up, like, you know, Christmas cracker things, or, you know, what is it that you're doing in the office to create that humorous atmosphere?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of the humor hints, then there'll be post-it notes or things that I'll print off from the computer that I'll write, you know, little ideas and jokes and stuff. But from an office environment, it's, you know, it's a level of banter, it's a level of engagement, it's having a bit of fun. So, you know, incentives or, you know, consequences. So what was it, a couple of weeks ago, someone, I think they were late for a few times in a row, so they ended up getting a pie in the face, you know, a squirty cream pie. And, you know, that type of humor just takes the pressure around. And, you know, one thing I always really I'm very passionate about is the sales floor should be a positive place. You know, there shouldn't be managers watching over your shoulders or, you know, telling you things that are wrong or anything. There should be no negativity on the sales floor, because you want it to be, you want your salespeople talking positively, having fun, having engaging conversations. So make it a positive one. If anything's negative, take it off the sales floor, you know, take it somewhere else. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of things, whether it's sport, football, you know, paper airplanes. You could do word bingo, you know, so people have to say certain words when they're on a phone call, you know, say, oh, I'm just here to tell you about this amazing banana, you know, IT technology, whatever it may be. It creates fun.
Yeah. And I think if somebody was at the other end of the phone and you said that, then they would actually probably recognize that there was some humor going on. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there's one in 100 people that would put the phone down, but 99 people would probably join in the joke.
You're never going to win them all, no. But yeah, no, I think most people will find light in it, and some people probably recognize what you're doing, and they'll probably play along. I mean, you know, no one's that there are some people that are serious, but most people are.
And so the third one was around humor and content. And one of the things that I wrote down was that you're very passionate that the content and the social is not an advertising platform.
But that's what a lot of people seem to think it is. Certainly for salespeople, and I've worked with a lot of people that have gone through social selling training programs, or they've read some blogs on social selling. So what they do is they then go back, they spend 2 hours writing a blog about their product and their company, and they post it out, and they wonder why no one's reading it or responding to it. But if they'd perhaps written something of value, something relevant to the industry that was of value to their prospects and customers, and then tagged their company at the bottom, put a bit of call to action at the bottom, you're more likely to get a response. And so, social content, especially humorous social content, it's a lot more engaging. That's why the daily sales is popular, because it's funny stuff. It's entertaining. People enjoy it. But I think if I just advertised products or companies, it wouldn't be what it is.
So what's your what's your ideal blog? What's the sort of thing that you think that people should be creating in terms of content? And don't say funny memes with.
Don't go into the meme game.
That's already taken. That one.
That's taken. Yeah. No. But to be fair, you could do a meme for any industry. If you're in pharmaceutical, you can make pharmaceutical memes. If you're in finance, make finance. I think it's got to be a balance, and that's what we try and do with the daily sales. It's balance of memes or images or photos, quotes, so things that are motivating, inspiring, or thought-provoking, and then blogs. So content, things that offer value. Hints, tips, facts, news, stories, things that provide a bit of education, and then through it all have a call to action. So if you're sharing a meme, put follow our page at the top. If you're sharing a quote, have a link. And if you're writing a blog, at the bottom have the information about who you are, why you write what you write, or why you do what you do.
I think it's so important to have the call to action. It's so often missed. What do you think? Do you think salespeople should be creating their own content?
100%.
Why can't we leave that to marketing?
We could. I think both should be doing it. Marketing is marketing, and that's a separate thing. They will be doing the advertising pieces, but I think salespeople in this social world where they're becoming seen as thought leaders, or that people are checking social profiles now. So your customers, your prospects, they're probably looking at your LinkedIn profile or your Twitter profile. They'll look at the content you're sharing. If you're not connected to them already, they'll look back at what you've been sharing. So it's important that they are sharing content, but I think it's key they learn how to do it properly, because so many salespeople aren't, and that's going to have very negative effect on their sales environment. Yeah,
we do a lot of training for telesales companies, and we're amazed that they go, we just phone people up, and so you mean that the other person at the other end isn't sitting there with the phone and they're going on LinkedIn and they're looking you up.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's what salespeople do. We research our buyers, and
whenever I get phoned up about a job or anything, first thing I do is I look up who the person is who's called me, and then I go onto the website of the company that they're probably talking about, and you jump to conclusions based on those things that you're looking for.
Well, that's what first impressions are. We all talk about 3-second elevator pitches, but we're having less and less of those 3-second conversations, whether it's on a cold call or in an office or whatever it may be. Those 3-second elevator pitches now are your social profiles. That's where people and customers are going to make those instant judgments on you.
So, if you're selling, you're selling software to helping people in mines. You may be a grad just out of university, but at least you could actually make your LinkedIn profile look like you're actually passionate about mining and and things like that. Because if you're kind of not passionate about it, you probably shouldn't be selling mining software.
No, I was going to say I've worked with students and spoken to graduates, people that are studying at university, and that's the perfect time to start doing social, because you can start absorbing and learning from thought leaders and industry leaders, etc. You can start to build your own profile, your own brand as you go through university. So by the time you hit industry, you've already got a legacy. You've already been engaging, sharing, engulfing yourself within whatever industry you're going into. You hit the ground running, so you don't have to wait until you finish. Get a head start.
Yeah, my partner's 21-year-old. He went on a 4-month tour of South America, And he was updating LinkedIn, you know, every now and again where he got into a city, went to Starbucks, updated LinkedIn, not about where he was traveling, but with stuff. He came back to the UK, got a job within 2 weeks. And that was actually from inbound, from somebody said, I understand that you're looking for a job. Can you come for an interview? And so the power of that, especially for students, and actually using that as a tool to get their first, if not their second or third job.
It's a huge tool, and it's underused, and it's there's not enough knowledge around it. I think schools, universities should be embracing social from an education piece, but also offices, businesses, and salespeople need to appreciate that it's not the same as what you're doing personally. A lot of people think that it's, you know, oh, I have Facebook for my personal stuff, so I know how to use Facebook. I get every social platform, but every social platform is different.
It is.
LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Snap, you know, they're all different. They require a different level of knowledge, and especially when you're trying to sell with it or create opportunities through it, you know, you need to appreciate the value of knowledge and learning within that, which is, again, why you've got such a great book, Tim, and why what you do is great, because that's what the industry needs. It's going to need it for quite a few years to come.
Yeah, I think that sometimes people don't get the fact that, you know, LinkedIn is a professional place, and I'm not bothered the fact that it's starting to come a little bit Facebooky. I kind of believe that with social is still in its, you know, it's early days, and it's going to evolve, and I kind of go with it rather than complaining, you know, or whinging about the old days of what it was like 6 months ago. You know, you know, social will take its own journey, and we do need to kind of go with it. But it is a social it's a professional place, and you know, if people are on there, and you know, for example, you know, you're a telesalesperson, you're making a call into somebody, and you know, you call Tim Hughes, he's got his phone under here, and he's looking at, you need to be presenting yourself as a professional person. Because, you know, as I say, I'm coming to a conclusion. I'm making a judgment based on who you are, and that will be whether and that may be down to whether I trust you.
Yeah, and that's it. But if your profile has a no picture or a poor picture, or maybe it's, you know, maybe your profile's built to get a job.
Yeah.
You know, does that really show that you're happy where, you know? So there are so many details, which again is why it's hard to just do it without knowledge. I think you need to take the time to learn, seek courses, training, influencers, etc. Because you're right, people are going to make that judgment. That 3-second elevator pitch is your profile.
So is there anything that you want to get over in terms of, you know, final things about how you need to use humor in the sales process? Is there anything that you know, nuggets that you want to get over?
Yeah, so, you know, look, sales is a tough job. It's a very rewarding job. You know, it's a fun job, but make it fun. Make it fun in all areas. So make it fun for your customers, make it fun for yourself and the environment you're in and the people around you, and embrace social and use humor to get more from social. Don't take social too seriously, because it isn't. Provide entertainment, provide humor, tie them all together. You'll have more fun doing what you're doing. Your customers will have more fun working with you, and the people in your social networks will enjoy the content you share a lot more. Yeah,
someone sent me a message on Facebook Messenger, which is a bit like being taken to one side, and they've been spoken to, and they said, you don't seem to be taking Facebook very seriously, do you? And it was like, it's Facebook.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, for me, Facebook is kind of like it's kind of like the pub.
Yeah, and do you know what you say about LinkedIn getting? You know, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, LinkedIn is becoming more like Facebook." Well, the funny thing is, Facebook is starting very slowly to become a little bit more like LinkedIn. A lot of businesses and professionals are starting to try and use Facebook more. And again, like you say, it's in its infancy. It's in an evolution. It's going to go through stages and changes. And like you say, just embrace it, use it. Not everyone's going to enjoy what you do, so that's fine. If, you know, they'll enjoy other things, let them enjoy that, and find the people that do, that will benefit from what you're selling or what you're talking about.
Brilliant. So Daniel, tell us again where we can get hold of you, your details, and where people can find you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, best place to find me is on LinkedIn, Daniel Disney. Find my profile, connect, follow. I'm always happy to talk to people. And yeah, Dan Disney on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Daniel Disney. Find me.
And of course, everybody needs to go to thedailysales.net.
Please do. Please check out the daily sales. The social pages are on all the social platforms. Please follow, and I hope you enjoy the content.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dan. Thanks. It's been really insightful and interesting. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you, Tim.
Bye.
Bye.